Welcome to Girl Talk. Thanks for tuning in and joining us today. We've got a great lineup today. It's winter. Well, you know what? It's not quite officially winter, not until I think the week of Christmas. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but I knew that you would know that. Does that make sense?
I knew that you.
Yeah.
I think it's December 21st, isn't it?
It's right in that neck of the woods, yeah. But it's starting to feel like it.
It does. Boy, Wisconsin feels like winter way earlier than it's supposed to.
And it's nighttime at 3 o'clock p.m. pretty much.
Yes. Have you seen those pictures on Facebook where it shows driving to work and it's dark, driving home from work and it's dark?
Yeah.
That's true, though.
Missed the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, some of our guests today actually kind of tie in with that whole theme of it being cold and dark. We've got a conversation with Joe Conan. Conan Automotive is in Stoughton, and Joe's going to come in and
winterize us.
Well, our cars at least. He's got some great tips. One that he shared with us earlier, I don't think we'll mention it this time, but was having your keys. I should have grabbed mine. You know, the fob that unlocks your vehicle, locks your vehicle.
Right, this isn't genius.
Has the horn alarm sound. He had a great suggestion of putting that by your bedside. And what a great way to maybe...
A burglar alarm.
Use it as a home alarm instead. I mean,
Sure.
if you hear something happening.
Right.
Sure.
And then it's the touch of a button.
Exactly.
Right? So you can determine if you feel in danger. And if you're not, if it's an oops and somebody's coming in the house, your teenager's sneaking back in from a long night, then you'll give them a good scare.
So you sound the horn. You don't necessarily throw the keys at your intruder, although you can do that too.
It doubles.
The car.
It doubles as a weapon. Oh my goodness. I love where our conversations just left turn. That's okay.
But he'll have all sorts of great ideas on things that will make our cars start, which is awfully nice and
important.
And everything just work the way it's
nice
supposed
to see him every now and then, just for a reminder to go get your oil changed. Check out your windshield wipers before snowstorm. Right.
You know what? But it is hard to sort out the different price points and different things of, where can you kind of be a little bit frugal and where do you need to spend? And that's where he comes in and gives us some really good ideas.
Exactly.
You can trust we'll also chat with Chris and John of AccuClimb Mechanical Services about getting your furnace ready to go. Hopefully it's going already. Apparently just turning it on to make sure it works isn't enough.
That's not enough. We're really covering the basics here in terms of getting ready for winter, but it's important stuff. I mean, your car and your home, you spend a lot of time in the winter and you need the heat and you need everything working and up to snuff, right?
Right, and when it's not working, boy, things can get pretty uncomfortable pretty fast and get serious too, either way, whether it's your car or your home.
So we take it for granted until it stops working, and then we think, boy, I should have done those maintenance things that Joe told me to do.
And maybe if it is working, they've got some tips on how to actually improve the quality of the comfort in your home, which is something you don't really think about too much. You're like, is it warmer or not?
And I heard that they have a promotion coming up with a Bucky book.
They do.
Oh,
so that'll be something to pay attention to.
Yes. Good
point.
call, yeah. So here's the promotion. If you call them by January 15th to schedule an appointment, this is AccuClimb Mechanical Services.
For a tune-up, I think.
For a tune-up.
Okay.
You don't have to schedule the appointment by January 15th, you just have to make the appointment. They'll give you a free Bucky book. So I think those are like $35.
Yeah.
I think they are, yeah. Boy, if you can't find something using that book, you got something wrong.
Tons of savings in that book.
Absolutely. So that'll be fun. And then when we come back from break, we'll be chatting we actually caught up with the Academy of Hwarangdo earlier about some self-defense tips.
Right, you'd hate to get yourself in a tough spot and not have some tools. They've got tips and ideas to not fight, but to keep yourself safe.
Right.
Real simple
Confident.
things, basic things that are important for us. So, and again, we talked about it being darker. Things are darker these days. We want to keep ourselves a little bit safer. Tough guys, but real nice guys too.
Yeah, we've got a lineup of some great guys coming up on
Yes,
the show.
that's true. All the guys on Girl Talk today. Well, we've got to take a break. When we come back, we will chat with those fellows from Hwarangdo right after this.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. As promised, we are chatting today with the Academy of Hwarangdo, and joining us, we have Billy Bess and Charles Dean, and we are so glad to have you here at the fabulous Bella Domicile, and your first time here, right guys?
Yes, it is. Correct. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're glad to chat with you today. We talked to the folks earlier that we were going to have you on to tell us a little bit about some safety precautions during the holiday season, and perfect timing to talk about this. So give us kind of the 1, 2, 3, the rundown on some seasonal safety precautions, what we should be thinking about.
Well, first of all, we're actually working with a lot of our kids right now. Due to the daylight savings times, it gets dark pretty fast.
Yes, very early.
Yeah, so we want to make sure that the kids are, practicing safety precautions, making sure that when they come home from school, they come home directly after school. If they're playing outside, to make sure that they're staying in well-lit areas. Just to make sure that they're always in, a parent's eyesight or in an area where people can hear them if something were to happen. So just one of those things that, again, from our students throughout the community, we want to make sure that, people understand that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what kind of advice do you give children, or what specifically do, I guess, you teach to take these precautions?
So in our schools, we cover all of those same things that Instructor Dean just talked about, and all of the things that we've covered in the other topics. And we just want to make sure that not only for the kids, but for the adults too, as we get into this busy season where extra stuff is happening, we just stick to those really basic principles.
Yeah. So what kinds of things do you talk about for adults?
Like we've talked about, like when you're walking to your car, how to be loud, right, rather than meek and maybe with a soft voice. Is it kind of along those lines?
Well, I mean, all of those things definitely still apply, but for adults, this is the time of year where, just like we've talked about, unfortunately, criminals are looking for easy targets, and because of all the extra activity, we have to take extra precautions. So some of that can be as simple as making sure that if you're going to donate money to a charity, that it's an actual legitimate charity. That's a way that people are taken advantage of. This is the type of year where, account scams happen more, so check your bank account regularly as you're going through extra transactions, making sure that all of that stuff's good. And then, the last little piece of that is, when you're out and you're doing your shopping, bring as much money as you need. Don't take everything and put it in your purse or your wallet in case something happens. Don't have the back of your vehicle filled up with gifts. Make sure everything's secured. All of those basic ideas.
And kind of going back to the kids, with the recent missing child that happened in Milwaukee. The whole Amber Alert, went out on that. And
right, in Milwaukee.
Yeah, we want to make sure that that kids just understand. Play with other friends. Make sure again if there's a stranger, if there's someone that's approaching, be loud and just make sure that someone can hear. If there's a problem, if there's danger.
Right, these are such, you think like such basic things, but they need to be taught this by someone.
Yeah, I think you have a tendency, even as adults, when you're out and about, to sort of have a sense of safety and security, especially, we live in a nice area here in Madison, you're shopping at malls, you're not thinking necessarily that something's going to happen, but to your point, you're carrying maybe extra money, and people are looking to take advantage of you, and it's not always the person that you may think, in terms of when you're kind of out there looking, and kids too, just making them aware and, not taking for granted that they know. So that's really good tips, and that's a lot of what you guys do, is just working on those basic safety precautions.
Really basic structure that just puts together a system of protecting yourself from all angles. That's our goal.
Let's kind of talk a little bit about martial arts, specifically in conjunction with Thanksgiving. Let's talk about how some of the tie-in is there.
I'm super curious about this because I can't even imagine.
Yeah, typically where we're starting, we talk to our kids about understanding the value of Thanksgiving, first of all. Not just, pigging out and, having a couple days, home from school and playing video games all weekend.
That's not what we're supposed to do.
There's football involved
That's
as
right,
well.
that's right. But, we actually do food drives at our schools, so the kids are involved in that, and I think it really helps teach the value of, understanding what's happening in the community. Not everyone's going to have access to a great Thanksgiving meal and have access to their families. So to get them out into the community, so they can kind of see and have a better feel as to what's out there. So the food drives at all 3 of our schools are really big, important things that we're doing at this time of year right now.
I think that's a great tie-in because there's so much tradition and respect involved in what you're doing, and we need to remember that about some of the holidays we forget sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Real quick before we go, we're gonna ask you about a special you guys are doing for the holidays.
So because of our relationship with CW, we're doing something that's unprecedented. For $19.99, we're going to do a uniform and a month of training, and that's available as a gift certificate too. So if someone wants to give a really meaningful and important gift for somebody, $20, that's a 75%.
Children and adults.
Children and adults.
How cool.
At
What
all
a
3
great
locations.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 3. Wow. What a great way to get started. Thanks you guys so much for joining us. This is
Always nice to have you.
It's always nice to have you, yes. This is Charles and Billy who join us from the Academy of Hua Rang Do. We're going to be back with more Girl Talk here at Bella Domicile. Stick around. Hey folks, welcome back to Girl Talk. We have been having lots of fun here, and we are going to have some more fun because we're going to talk to 2 of our favorite friends here. You may recognize these folks. It's John and Chris who join us from AccuClimb Mechanical Services, and we're going to talk about some important things today, including some tips for you for the winter and talking about quality of comfort in your home. So I look forward to it. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. Thank you.
Thanks for having us here
again.
We're always glad to have you. It's always nice to see you. You guys are so great and so friendly and so willing to give us these important tips for our home. Some of these things we don't always think about. But John, I want to start with you. You wanted to talk about not skimping on quality of comfort in your home. What do you mean by that?
Well, most people, you look at their houses, their furniture matches their drapes, matches their wall coverings, matches pretty much everything in the house because they want it to look just right at that point.
Absolutely.
And people come over and visit and they want to have a good time with everything, and they're kind of looking to impress people because they want their house to look clean and ready to go. But have you ever thought about when somebody comes over and they sit down and they're admiring your house and all of a sudden they grab a blanket off the couch and cover their legs?
Everyone at my house does that.
And I've done that at other people's
And
houses.
you start thinking about that and you're going, wow, and this kind of goes back to when I was a kid. I'd be at home and people would come over and people would ask my mom, can I grab a blanket off the couch? And I got to thinking about that as I've gotten older, that if you put in a lower end furnace in your house, they're not comfortable. People are just not feeling the way they should. You want to entertain at parties. You want people to be comfortable. You want them to come back again sometime.
Right.
And really, our goal in our business is to have people comfortable in their homes, and we want them to feel just right.
It's interesting that you say that because you're right. You've put so much time and effort into what your home looks like, making sure somebody has the right drink and enough food and snacks and everything because you want them to enjoy their time at your home. But how often do you ask them, geez, are you cold? Are you hot? All those kinds of things that have a huge impact on your comfort level.
People will spend millions of dollars every year to put stuff into their house to make it look nice. And then nobody ever thinks about that piece of equipment in the basement that's always tucked in a corner,
right,
where nobody can see it because really it's nasty looking. Nobody really cares what it looks like.
And just the speed, too, of which it works, I'm sure makes a difference. I mean, I know for me when I'm coming home and it's super cold outside, I want that heat coming up quick. And I want it to work fast.
And how many times have you been home where you put a blanket on because you're cold, you turn the furnace on, then all of a sudden it's, oh, I'm warm, and you take the blanket off again, well then the furnace shuts off and you're putting the blanket back on.
I do this all the time, so this is funny. Yeah, totally agree.
I know, Chris, when you came over to take a look at my furnace, he also mentioned, hey, be comfortable, because I was trying to skimp a little bit too, just to keep it, I don't know, I felt like I needed to keep it affordable. And that
We've got
kind of
those
thing.
frugal minds, you and I, that sometimes bite us in the butt.
But sometimes there's savings there by the better equipment will actually save you money by running it at a smaller capacity but at a longer time frame. John and I talk about, you'll feel just right, and we kind of joke about it, we laugh about it, but feeling just right in your home isn't just the temperature. Feeling just right is the company that you're working with, the amount of time that when we work with a homeowner and we come out for an annual maintenance, that we spend with them and explain to them how it operates, what they can do to save some money on their energy bills, what they can do to kind of keep this piece of equipment running longer. So it's feel just right both personally, the company that you're using, their background, their knowledge, how helpful they are, how friendly they are, and the temperature in your home.
Yes.
That's feeling just right.
And I want to make sure we talk about this. We run out of time so quickly with you guys because we get to chatting. But let's talk about during the winter and the home humidifier, the importance of. Now, we have humidifiers for our room. What's the importance of having a whole home humidifier? I don't even know what that is.
Well, a whole home humidifier generally attaches directly to the furnace. And what that does is it helps keep a more balanced, even humidity control in the house. MG&E says you can save 4% per degree on your energy bill if you have a properly humidified home, because 68 at proper humidity is actually warmer to the body than 72 in dry. So you're more comfortable at a cooler temperature.
That is actually fascinating. That's my problem. My house is dry because I'll crank the heat up to 74, 75 degrees sometimes and still feel chilly. And I've got the little room humidifiers and those rooms do feel better.
Right.
And that actually costs you more money in your energy bill because it costs you money to run every single one of them separately.
I always learn so much. Thank you guys so much for the tips. Full of pointers. We'll have more with these guys later, probably in January. So Chris and John from AccuClimb Mechanical Services, give them a call if you need some help or some tips. We'll be right back with more Girl Talk after the break. Hello and welcome back to Girl Talk. So we've had all kinds of fun so far today, but this is the segment we've been promising you would be here. We're talking about winter maintenance for your car. I don't think there could be a more perfect time to have this discussion as the cold rolls in and we start buckling down, thinking about what could go wrong with our cars this year. This is Joe Conant, as you may recognize from Conant Automotive, and we're so glad to have you back, Joe. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a while.
So yeah, we're glad to see you and we love having you, and we love how you give us these great tips for our vehicles and let us just kind of shoot the breeze about any questions that we have. So let's kind of start with some of the things on the table and talking about what we can do to kind of get ready for the year.
All right, well, since winter is here, it's real simple to make sure that your vehicles start every morning. First things first is a good battery. I suggest every 3 years. And that might be a little bit early for some, but it's cheap insurance. A battery should cost you installed right around $130 anywhere.
Huh, that's it, huh?
And if you divide that up per year, it's pretty cheap insurance.
Yeah.
The other thing is having your oil changed, so that's done and out of the way.
Did you see my face? I need one, yeah.
It's just to make that car start when it's supposed to when we get down to the 10 below. Them are the two major things to get done.
Okay. And with the oil changes in the winter, now, typically you've told us that 3,000 mile mark. Do you think sooner, or are we still good at 3,000?
Well, mainly it's we set it at 4,500 on the oil that we use.
Okay.
I suggest going with a semi-synthetic or a full synthetic oil change. I'm glad you brought that up because you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So you see the signs that say 1995 oil change. You're not getting what your vehicle needs.
Okay.
You're going to spend $50, $60.
I'm glad you asked or brought that up too. Is I never know if that's worth the money. You know, there's all these different price points and different oils, and I have an older vehicle, and going into the winter, you think it's worth spending the money on the better oil?
Oh, always.
How do you know what oil they're putting in?
Trust, branding, brand name. Like if you go to like a Valvoline, Pennzoil, Quaker State. When you go to the lower price, like the 1995, they're generally using the lowest cost oil to make, because an oil change, the money that's made on an oil change is really not that much because you have so much tied up in the product itself. So 1995, you're not getting the greatest oil.
Right, because they've got to have some margin, or what's the point?
You got to have margin.
Yeah,
I mean, we're in business, so yeah, you have to have margins.
So that's good to know. And I love the battery tip too, because when your battery does die, and I've had this happen, then you're stuck. And then you're dealing with expenses like possibly towing or having somebody come out to you. And for the price, I didn't even think it was that inexpensive to get that changed. It's really great.
They're very, for what you're getting, it's very inexpensive.
So isn't there a way to tell how old it is? It seems like I remember.
Yeah, it should be a date code right on the top there where it's punched out.
I'll see that,
Generally, that's what they're supposed to do. A lot of places sometimes, get into a hurry and don't put the date that it's put in.
So interesting.
So
you
you're
can
just a
actually
guessing
check.
game. Quickly on the battery situation, this is a little piece of equipment that you can get for right around about $200. It may seem like a lot of money, but they do come smaller. And this is actually a jump pack. Meaning you can jump start a vehicle. You can even jump start a big diesel truck.
Wow.
With just that.
And you can also power a laptop, your phone. I've recommended this to a lot of people that have kids that are going to college. They can
that
stick
peace
that in their
of
vehicle, and that way they don't get the call on a Sunday night when they're 200 miles away. At least they can get home safe.
Or you have to ask a stranger.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was just saying
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
I just got chills because I've had to do that before, and it's always worked out. But if I had something like that, boy, that would take.
And that's
this-
a bigger unit. They do come smaller, and like I say, they're right around the 250, 250 range.
Where do you get that?
I know Farm and Fleet has them. I mean,
Okay.
everybody has them now.
Oh, really? Wow.
And
I'm
what do
not
you
in the
call
loop.
them?
It's just a battery jump pack.
Okay. Now, what's this fun gadget?
This is something I recommend people keep in their vehicles. It's a snow broom. Basically, it's foam so you don't scratch the paint, so you can actually clean all the snow off your vehicle so you're not driving down the road with all this snow on it.
Especially the hood where it can blow
yeah,
back.
it blows in.
Exactly. And also, since we're on that subject of cleaning off where the windshield wipers go, the cowl area, what happens is you'll get into such a hurry, you'll get the wipers going, and it basically will destroy the wiper motor. Because
they get
it's
stuck?
Oh
because
no,
it
I
gets
do this
stuck.
all the time too. I do everything wrong.
And
what
wiper
I'm
motors
learning.
are kind of expensive to replace, so you definitely want to get your car clean. On the wiper subject here, we got two kinds of wipers. You got the beam type, and you got the old suspension type, I'll call them. Well, snow and ice can get trapped in here, and then your wiper blade's doing nothing. And I know you've probably experienced that going down the road. You're not cleaning the window.
So it's
Where-
going, but it's not
Right,
cleaning,
it's not making
working.
contact.
Yeah.
Whereas this one here will make full contact with the windshield, and it's less likely to get snow built up on it. So there's a safety thing too.
How often are you supposed to change out your windshield wipers?
I recommend once a year,
Once a
twice a
year?
year
Okay.
maybe, because they are out in the elements, they're getting beat up, and people overlook them.
What were
Another
those
thing I
called
need.
again?
It's beam type. Basically everything made now has this type on it, new vehicles that is, but older vehicles, they have these for the older vehicles, but these will work also.
If you have the older ones, you can
Yes,
switch
yep.
to, you can go to
Yep,
either
you can
way.
get the new ones.
And what should we be spending on a set of windshield wipers like this?
You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You should spend probably $15 to maybe $30 on a set.
Okay. We can do that.
Don't get
that's
the
not bad.
$2 ones because they're not going to work out for you.
Could be a stocking stuffer.
You know what,
$2
Janet? That's not. No, we get the good ones if you're going to do that. Oh my gosh, Joe, thank you so much. Is there anything else here we want to talk about, or we cover the important
Real
things?
quickly. When you got car keys, have them look like this. One key, maybe house key, and the key fob.
Okay.
This is bad. You don't need all this stuff on your keychain.
Right.
It wears out the ignition lock cylinder,
Does it?
and it's just it's
Because of the weight?
because of the weight. That's always hanging on the little ignition lock cylinder, and it wears them out prematurely.
Interesting. I didn't know that. And safety. You know, when you're fumbling around getting into your car, you got to be careful safety-wise too.
Exactly.
Joe, this is all fabulous. Thank you so much for these
You're welcome.
fantastic tips. Joe is from Conant Automotive out in Stoughton. Make sure you check him out. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to all of our guests, and thank you for watching. Join us next time for Girl Talk.